feel like January can actually start now. It feels like a new year, not just like the sad continuation of Christmas. And I'm gonna actually try to make more progress in this Murder, She Wrote book, Dying to Retire. Not a heck of a lot has happened so far. Jessica and her friends get to Florida. They have a friend whose funeral they're there for, and there are suspicions that it was not natural causes. And my reading has been interrupted quite a bit because of there might be a ghost in my house. But there's not. It's just gravity. Some dishes in the sink that were piled up precariously just kind of settled by themselves. I can't remember if they've been to the funeral yet, or if the funeral's still coming. It's been a minute since I've read this, but I'm on page 105, chapter 10. It doesn't take long to jump back into these things. Well, it's that morning where you wake up in your house and the Christmas decorations are gone and it kind of looks nice. You're like, oh, our house is pretty and it's clean and it's not cluttered. Yeah, it's kind of shocking to walk into the living room and not see so much stuff. Philip is ready to come back inside now. The boy is in. So I need to make some coffee and figure out last steps for the choosing what to read next and undecorating for Christmas vlog. And I need to clean this lens. You know what? Actually, I think I'm gonna leave for work early and get Starbucks on my way. And then I need to update you on our cruise. We're going on a cruise. I am very excited. It's my first time. So that's awesome. We have two friends coming over tonight who live really, really nearby, like 5 minutes away. They bought a house 5 minutes away from us. Up until tonight, we have not hung out. And we're like, why don't we do better? So they're gonna come over tonight. We're gonna play games and it'll be swell. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave now, go to work. Okay, so yesterday was a dark day for me. I was having a really hard time with the news, just the direction things are going here in the States. But today was better. Today was a good day. I entered into the chili cook-off at work. I entered my dad's chili recipe. I didn't change anything about it. I had some stuff I wanted to do to it, and I decided to just enter his, like, the legit, just dad's chili. And I took second place and won People's Choice, which is like not the experts, but just like everybody at work voting award. So that was really, really fun. It got me out of the house. I was off yesterday and today, and I went into work for that today. So I got a lot of the cardboard dealt with in the garage. All of the wreaths are like in a pile and they need to be hung up on the walls. But the garage is looking much better, which is good. We're like partway there. I've really been enjoying Miss Marple, 12 New Mysteries. I'm listening to it slowly because I want to listen to a story and then write down my thoughts, like my little mini review before I listen to the next story so I don't forget what I thought of it. A lot of these are good. There was one by Naomi Alderman that I loved and I gave 5 stars to. Ruth Ware's was also very good. So this has been really, really fun. And I'm enjoying that Murder, She Wrote book that I'm reading, but I'm not in a great place for reading right now. The situation in our country right now is really, really it's discouraging. Thank goodness for reading. Yesterday, I got so frustrated that I just had to take a bath, made myself a drink, and got into a bubble bath and read with a candle. And that was quite therapeutic, so that was good. One day at a time. One day at a time. So, David's mother is staying with us to dog sit Philip while we're on our cruise, and she's staying in our guest room, which is very close to my office. I'm going to talk quietly. We are going on a cruise tomorrow, and I cannot decide what to read while I'm on the ship. So, I'm going to try and pick. I have the next Murder, She Wrote book, but I don't know, because I just read one of these, and I don't think this really fits the vibe, so that's a no. I'm supposed to be reading this soon, but this is also not pleasant. It's like a really rough read, I think. So I'm not going to read this on the ship either. I'm going to look on my Goodreads and see what I have unread. There was also... Okay, wait, never mind. I think I know. It's a thriller. Husband goes missing. This is gonna be good. Because I loved Bathhouse by P.J. Vernon, I am going to read his other book, his first book, When You Find Me by P.J. Vernon. It's a thriller. It's mysterious. It's supposed to give like Gone Girl vibes. And to me that sounds like the perfect vacation read. And that's what this is, because we're going on a cruise. Yes. I will read you on a boat. Okay, so it is almost midnight. David is gallivanting around the ship, continuing the virtual scavenger hunt game thing that we were doing earlier. And I was gonna maybe go with him, but I was so tired from dinner. We had a 175 course meal with 10 desserts and wine and champagne. We got into the room, I was like, I just have to sit down for 5 minutes. And he's like, okay. And then a minute later, he said, okay, well, I'm gonna go. And I said, okay. So he went, and I stayed. And now I'm going to try and read this. When You Find Me by P.J. Vernon. Her husband is missing. Her life is unraveling. Can you hear the ocean, by the way? Because the waves breaking against the side of the ship are very soothing. Visiting her family's South Carolina estate, socialite Gray Godfrey wakes from a night out to an empty bed. Her husband Paul is gone, and a thrashing hangover has wiped her memory clean. At first, she's relieved for the break from her tumultuous marriage. Perhaps Paul just needed some space. But when his car is found abandoned on the highway, Gray must face the truth. Paul is gone, and Gray may not want him found. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time. So I'm gonna start this, I think maybe on the veranda, which has a light, and we'll see how that goes. The first morning we were at Lighthouse Point in the Bahamas. David and I actually had a massage, so by the time we left the ship, the place looked abandoned. I promise the ship was full of people normally, but in all of these shots it looks empty, and that's just because we were getting a late start. That's the ocean. Standing in it. With a beverage. This is basically like a milky margarita. It has like agave and tequila and lime, but also coconut milk. The water here, so I've always heard that the water in the Bahamas is so clear, but I've never been here, so I've never seen it for myself. And it's so true. Okay, so this is me going into the ocean, also known as Operation Do Not Lose Your Phone. It's not that cold. It's chilly. It's January, but we're in the Bahamas. David and I both prefer to be hot than to be cold. I don't want to be hot, but if I'm going to be uncomfortable, I'd rather be uncomfortably hot than uncomfortably cold. David is a little bit more dramatic that way than I am, though. There he is, not coming in the water, and here I am in the ocean. So what better time to talk about a book than now? When You Find Me by P.J. Vernon. I am really enjoying it. It reminds me actually of a Tess Gerritsen thriller. The main character being a cop and being kind of like salty. She has a dramatic history with this guy who she's very triggered every time she sees like his billboard for something. He's from a family where the patriarch was running for Senate or something. Her aunt, she worked for them. She was like an in-house, like a housekeeper situation years ago, like 20 years earlier. And he was in the middle of a campaign and she put a tape recorder in her pocket and recorded him being really verbally abusive to her. And it ended his campaign. She always said that that was the only time it happened, but the main character is like, then why was she tape recording their conversation? She's very bothered by the fact that her auntie got mail from that family, and then it turned out that it was a check for $1,000 written out for, quote, severance. So she's like, why in the world are they still sending you money? What does she know? I really should not have worn my shirt into the ocean, but I did. So you know what? This is refreshing. Yes, it's cold, but it's not horribly cold. So that book is not really a beachy read, but it feels like the right vibe, and I'm really enjoying it. P.J. Vernon, good writer. We're gonna go to do there's like a nature trail that David really wants to do. And that'll be great, because it'll mean I'll probably dry off. I hope. Okay, good, David's still there. So yeah, God, this is amazing. I've never been to the Bahamas before. I have never left the 48 states, not for any particular reason, but I just never have. I've been to Key West, only for work. But I've never been here, and I've never been so far south, so this is exciting for me. I can almost put my knees down, but not quite. Anyway, this has been fun. Talking about books in the ocean with you. Look, just ocean. The sun is so bright. This channel is supposed to be called Reading in the Dark, and I'm doing the opposite of that right now. I'm not reading and I'm not in the dark, but it's fine. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at that. I guess it's time to go back towards shore. It is really funny to me that I did not think about the fact that I had this shirt on. I did it. Well, greetings. Somehow, it is February now. I don't know how that happened. It is the 5th, actually. We went on our cruise, which was the 27th through the 31st. And then I had a week of work starting on the 31st, the day we got back from the cruise. Came home, took a nap, went to work, and then got through that 5 days of work, which was hard. Oh my God, I felt like I was carrying around an actual tire. But I got through it, and now I have 2 days off, today and tomorrow, and I have like a list of things to do. First of all is to unpack. I also want to put these shelves to some sort of order with books on them and things, because they've been here now for months and I haven't done anything with them. They're just collecting junk. That's going to start with a cup of coffee, though, obviously. I did finish reading When You Find Me by P.J. Vernon. Now, I read this book because I first read Bathhouse by P.J. Vernon. This is a queer thriller. It has to do with a guy who is attacked while he's in a bathhouse. So it's an own voices thriller. It was really, really fun and a page turner, and I loved it. And I think I gave it 5 stars. So this book I also really, really loved. So this was from 2018, and Bathhouse was published in 2021. They both deal with alcoholism and recovery, and they deal with it quite well. But this character is drinking too much in an unhappy marriage, and her husband disappears while they are visiting her family. Anyway, it was really interesting because for some reason, and it's partially because I started reading this on the cruise, so I was not paying attention to the headers of the chapters, and I didn't realize that it was swapping perspectives back and forth, which is not groundbreaking and not that confusing, and it's not like that's something I haven't read before, but for some reason I just didn't clock that. So I started trying to make these two characters one character, and in my mind for the first 4 or 5 chapters they were, until eventually it became impossible to reconcile one with the other, and I realized my mistake. These are 2 different people. So then I sort of thought through, organized it in my brain and said, okay. It's really not confusing. It's not. I just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, it was really hard to put down. I read it really quickly. I just didn't love the reveal, unfortunately. The reveal is trafficking in a trope that I think we can probably put down now. But it still was very surprising. I was very surprised and taken off guard by the solution to the sort of whodunit of the situation. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. And I will definitely read whatever is next. That was 18, 19, 24. We're due for another P.J. Vernon. I need to check his author page on Goodreads and see if there's something coming up. My allergies are horrible right now. Normally I don't really have allergies in Florida, and wow. So it's February, the month that I love to try and pronounce. On a whim, because I didn't know what to read next, because I finished that Agatha Christie compilation, I started listening to Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin, who I have never read, I am ashamed to say. Also, it's a queer story, and I could tell right away that this book is gonna wreck me. David's leaving town. He's going to China for a work trip in a week, and he'll be gone for a week, I think. And so I will have a lot of me time. So hopefully I can be really productive. So anyway, I'm just feeling a lot of positivity and momentum and good vibes right now, and I'm excited about that. So I'm gonna go with that energy. All of that in spite of the slow unraveling of our democracy that's taking place. I just want to go on a cruise again and never come back. But yeah, putting that aside into a little compartment on the shelf, I'm feeling really good. Okay, it's a little light and wimpy, but we got rain today. Yeah, so today I've just basically been editing all day, working on still the first half of my October vlog. It's pretty much done. I'm just tweaking it. I have all these wine corks that need to go in those 2 lamps that I bought to put on my shelves, and then I want to go through a bunch of mail, make my office look decent, because it's bumming off in there. I'm really bad at opening mail. Most everything important is an email, but I haven't opened any of these. This is the stack of mail that I don't even need to open. That's just ads for credit cards and stuff that's going into the recycling. A lot of that stuff was actually mail that wasn't even for us. It was for the people who used to live in this house. There were a lot of people who used to live in this house, apparently. All of this mail, though, I have to go through one by one. I'm not doing that right now. I think I'm gonna play a game, a video game. I have to take a break from what I'm doing, so that's what's happening. Inside now. Well, greetings. It is my day off. The weather turned a little, I wouldn't say chilly, but it turned a little bit more like appropriate to the actual calendar date. A couple days ago, low 70s during the day instead of 80s. It's nice to be able to have the windows open. I'm airing out the house because it occurred to me that we just never open windows. David is in China. Him and his boss and a lot of his coworkers they do a lot of business with people in China, and they're giving them a tour of the country. So he flew from here to Dallas a couple mornings ago, actually evenings ago, and then flew from Dallas to Shanghai, which is crazy to me. They flew west, which makes perfect sense, but surprised me. So so he's in China, and he's gonna be there for 10 days. So I have the house to myself. I say that like it's a good thing and also a bad thing. I enjoy having some alone time, but it's a long time. So I'm just facing the reality of we're nearing the end-ish of the month, and I'm not going to be doing like constant vlogging starting in March because I have so many videos I still have to edit. So that's me on my day off so far. So I just wanted to check in and share this really pleasant afternoon with you, and I will hopefully see you again later. Bye.